What's up, guys? We got another F150 video for you. So the truck didn't come with a backup camera, which is ridiculous because I think every new truck or car should have a backup camera. So we got in touch with Autovox. They had contacted us a couple months ago wanting us to use one of their units in the video, and back then we already had a backup camera in my old truck as well as our Tahoe, so we turned them down. So I got a hold of them and they sent me out an amazing unit. So this is the Autovox X1Pro touchscreen rear view camera system. So basically you have a DVR built into the rear of the camera or the mirror, and you also have a camera to mount on the rear, like on the bumper. So we're going to be installing this today on the F150. Backup cameras are super easy to install. You normally just have a constant hot, a key switch hot, like an accessory hot, a ground. Then you need to tie in one wire to the reverse signal light wire. So that'll basically tell the mirror when you're in reverse to kick on the rear camera. So we're going to hook this up on the bench real quick. I have a 12-volt rail onto my workbench so I can show you guys how it works in the garage in nice lighting. And then we'll go out and show you how I'm going to install this in my 13150. So we got the camera all hooked up. You can see it's just a barrel type connector. This is like a 4 or 5 pin connector, so you can only plug it in one way. So we got the wire coming from the camera hooked up to the lead that's going to run down to your fuse box. Now basically they've soldered on these small fuses, which fortunately that's what my F150 takes. If you're using a older vehicle, they're going to take the next size up fuse, but this one fortunately came like my truck already has in it. So we have the hot and the accessory hot as well as the constant hot hooked up to the hot of this 12-volt rail, as well as the ground hooked up. So the wires are also fused down here. This fuse is basically to keep whatever you're replacing. So let's say this red one's going to plug up to the cigarette lighter fuse on my fuse box. That's going to allow it to still have a fusible link here for the cigarette lighter, but then the wire is protected with its own separate fuse. Same way with the constant hot. Now I haven't looked at my fuse box to see where I'm going to hook those up. We'll do that once we get to installing it. Then we have this wire that goes on to the backup camera on the rear bumper. Same type barrel style connector. You can only plug it in one way. And then when we go to the other end of it, it's plugged into the camera. And this is a different style camera. This isn't a tag mount camera, so I'm going to have to modify and make a little bracket to put this on my truck to keep it out of harm's way. But again, we'll show you that when we get to it. Then you have this red wire that's going to basically run up to your reverse hot wire. So basically when your reverse light comes on, you need to test it, find which one is hot to that bulb, and tie this in with it. So when that bulb comes on, it triggers to tell the mirror that that you're in reverse to turn on the rear camera. Then the last thing we have hooked up is a GPS antenna. You can stick this on your dash or run it up to the roof of the vehicle. And the reason it has a GPS antenna is for the fact that this mirror will tell you how fast you're going, and it has a compass on it. So it's pretty cool, awesome little mirror. I was just going for a standard style rearview mirror with the portion of the mirror, about a third of the mirror is screen, where this is the whole entire mirror setup is the screen. So let me throw this on a tripod and we'll power this unit on. So we're going to go ahead and flip on my 12-volt rail, and you'll notice that the mirror comes right on with a little tone to it. So I haven't set this mirror up yet, so it tells you the time and date up in the right hand corner, and it's automatically on the rear facing camera. As you can see here, it's showing my camera setup. So you can actually change what camera you want, because this unit does have a DVR in the rear of the mirror. So if we touch the screen, the menu comes up, and the button right over here will swap to the backside screen, as you can see. And what's cool about this camera is you can use the touch screen and you can pivot the camera up or down. So it's basically a motorized DVR camera that you can, basically if you're pulling up to a car in front of you and you want to get a license plate number because they might have just hit you, you can pivot that camera down to see the license plate or whatever you may need it for. But that is a super cool feature. You can run this will kick on automatically when you're driving, but you can also just use it just to see the car in front of you if you like, whatever you want to use it for. And then again, we can kick on the backup camera as we need to. You can see the Sigmund welding table over there looking all fancy. So If we also touch the screen and hit the power button, it's going to go into mirror mode with the time and date up in the top right corner. And on the left hand side, we're going to have a road looking icon on the screen, and it's going to tell our miles per hour as well as a compass once the GPS is all set up. So you do have to mess with the settings a little bit to get everything, time and date and everything set up. So if we touch the screen again and hold down on that power button, it'll fully power off the mirror, as you can see. So we're going to touch it to turn it back on. Let's turn it back to this, you know, the miles per hour. You can see there the miles per hour is working. Definitely not right. Because we're in a garage, it's not going to work correctly, of course. It's kind of cycling through most likely. When you put the vehicle in reverse, which I'm going to touch the reverse wire to my heart, you'll see the reverse camera kicks right on with the lines. The lines only come up when you're in reverse on your vehicle, and if I remove that reverse wire, it's going to kick back to where we had it before. Super cool mirror. I'm excited to put this thing in my truck. And if we go to the settings, you hit the gear, of course, you can put an SD card in here to save the DVR footage. You know, if you had a wreck, it'd be handy to have that now. Insurance companies will actually, some insurance agencies will lower your insurance rates if you have a DVR in your vehicle, so that's pretty cool. It has all kinds of driving mode. You can turn it off. I'm guessing that's going to do something with changing out the screen on the mirror and change the time and date. You can use either 1080p or 1296p, and of course we want the higher resolution, so we're going to switch that. You got loop recording. You can turn how often you want that, 1 minute, 2 minute, or 3. The G sensor is on low on default. We can play with it to see if we need it on high, or what the case may be. Parking mode, sensitivity, it has all your normal volume. LCD brightness, I'm leaving it on auto because it'll brighten up during the day, dim down at night. You can make the DVR record sound as well inside the cabin of the vehicle, which is always good for a video if you have a wreck. Change the language, parking lines, you can turn those off on the backup camera, and just reset the unit. Pretty sweet little mirror. I wasn't expecting to have something this quality when I asked them for a backup camera to use on the channel. So let's get out to the 150 and get this puppy installed. Okay, so we got to pull the mirror off. We're going to unplug the connector. I believe that's for the auto dim feature. It could be for the compass, I can't remember. Alright, so after some prying and stuff, I've got the mirror off. Now, it's been a while since I've taken off an F150 mirror. If you notice, this is the bottom pointing towards the dash, and it's got this little clip. Now, if you can maybe bend a pick or something to slide in and get, on top of this clip, and then you can pry against the button and make this clip collapse so you can slide the mirror up. How I did it was, I've taken a Craftsman screwdriver and I filed down the side so it fit into that slot, and basically I bent a 45 in it so I could go from up top into that top slot, and I slid it in there and just gently, now it's nerve-wracking because I have broke a window doing it the incorrect way, but you just pry, and basically the tip of the screwdriver is going to push against the actual button on the window, popping this mirror off. So it's going to make a popping noise. Just be careful. And it just popped off like that, and then the bottom kind of slid off. So there's that mirror. And this wire I actually just tuck up into the headliner because we will not need it. This is just for this sensor here, which dims the mirror down. So we got that off. Now I can go ahead and install my mirror, and I'm going to run my wires. Actually, I normally go down the driver's side. On this truck I'm going to go down the passenger side because of the fact that the fuse box is on the passenger side floorboard, the kick panel. So I'm gonna go ahead and slide my mirror on, get it tightened up, and then feed my wire over here into this pillar all the way down, and then I'll get behind the glove box and pull the stuff out. You'll see. Alright, so I'm taking a little piece of heat shrink and I'm going to slide it over the antenna plug, plug the antenna up, and then I'm going to shrink this heat shrink down to protect that connection. And that way when I'm running my wire, I don't have to worry about it unplugging. And I also do the video plug as well, the little 5-pin connector. I just slide a piece of heat shrink over top of this, plug it up, slide it back, and seal it up. So you have this wire that'll come out of the top of the mirror. So we're going to slide this down like so, and then it has a little mirror guard or a wire guard that we're going to put on the window, and we need to cut it down to size. So we're going to slide this on, see how much we need to cut off, trim it off, and then install this mirror. Pretty simple process. I think that'll be good. So fast forward a couple hours. Basically, the camera, as I showed you in the garage, had one wire to hook up back here. It had the barrel connector that you just plug up, and then it had a red wire that you run up to your hot signal wire on your reverse light bulb. That's easy. You just test it with a wire tester, find out which one's hot, go into the reverse bulb, and then tie into that. I solder mine and heat shrinked it. Then, the way the camera was, I couldn't mount it up here like you normally would on the tag. So what I had to do was roughly cut, and I'll sand this and make it look nice. I'm not really worried about it. But I mounted the camera, if you can see, up here above the hitch, which is pretty sweet. My hitch right now, I need to flip. This was for Becca's Tahoe because it was so low to the ground. But when I put it in normal, put the ball on normal, the ball sets up about here. And what's cool about this camera is it's motorized. You can pivot it up and down. So I'll be able to back up to my trailers, and I don't leave my hitches on my vehicles. I normally pull them off. But so that's where I ran the camera, and I used braided wire guard and ran it all the way up, and I'll show you where I ran it into the cab. So I basically ran it with the electric cutout wire. So there's a grommet. I installed a grommet down here in the floor. So you can see there, I ran the braided wire is for the reverse camera. The naked wire is for the exhaust cutout. They both run through this grommet and then go up with the factory wires, go up behind the kick panel, and then you can pop this little access port off right here and wire everything behind your garage. You can see the camera is grounded. Right here I just put a self-tapping screw through this bare metal and the body of the truck, so that's got a really good ground. So if we pull the fuse box lid off, you can see the yellow and the red wire is tapped into an existing fuse hole. With this style fuse, you really need to pull the fuse. Once you find out which one is an accessory and which one is a constant, you need to pull the fuse and make sure which post is the power's coming from, because the way they soldered that onto the fuse, if you did it the wrong way, it's going to make the accessory be pulling the power through the fuse as well as the camera. So you don't want to do that. Find out which post is hot and put the part of the fuse with the wire coming out of it on the hot post, if that makes sense. So it's all nicely wired. I got to get one more of those fuse style accessory adders for the exhaust cutouts, and we'll be good to go.
So we got everything hooked up, and it's raining like the son of a gun, but we're going to go ahead and show you how this camera works. I cannot figure out a way to get military time off, which drives me crazy, but you know, that's just in the morning time, so who cares. We have our compass and that speedometer over here, and then if we hit this, it goes to the front camera, which you can pivot up and down, which that's really handy, because where this mirror is mounted, if that wasn't a feature, then you'd be kind of stuck, you know, looking straight up like this. You're not going to grab any footage like that. And also, if we switch around, you can see my balls right there. You can see I didn't get the camera dead centered, but I don't like the viewing angle of this camera. It doesn't have a wide angle like I'm used to on a bunch of rear view cameras. So we're going to go back to this one. If we put it in reverse, you'll see it kicks on with the lines. Again, I didn't get it centered, and it also doesn't have the widest viewing angle, which kind of drives me crazy. And it'll kick back to the forward facing camera. I don't have a memory card in it, so it's not going to record the footage. I'm not really interested in the DVR part. You know, it's a bonus for some people, but you know, we drive in a small town, so if you hit somebody, it's most likely your sister. So you'll see after a few, I think it's like 30 seconds, the camera will kick to the drive mode, which I like. I don't want to see that screen constantly. But if you want to see the screen, you just hit it and there's the front view. We're going to turn it back off and show you how the compass and stuff works. So you can see the compass works really well, because I have one built in my truck and it's dead on accurate. You see the speedometer works really well. The rain's going to be loud, but we just have to get this video done, so we'll have to deal with it. But that's a pretty cool feature. So there's a couple pros and cons to this camera. The pro is it's a really high quality camera. The mirror is high quality. It doesn't feel like you're getting some cheap Chinese mirror, which I have
received before. It's really high quality, but the cons I have with it is the camera isn't wide enough angle. You don't get enough of it. I almost hit Lonnie's truck by only watching the camera. If I wouldn't have looked in my blind spot mirror, we would have hit bumper to bumper. Because I'm used to, like, the camera I put on the Tahoe has a huge viewing range. Like, I can see anything behind that thing. This one, it seems like the last foot of the edge of my truck I can't see on either side. So I definitely don't like that about it. I don't like how at night you have to, this doesn't look bright during the day, just this screen right here, but this is a backlit screen. So that means at night, that's brighter than you want it, and you really can't see people behind you unless you completely turn off the screen. That's aggravating, just having, you would think it would have a night mode that would turn it completely off at night, because I don't even want the screen on whatsoever. A Pro is definitely, it's got a really, I guess, high definition driving camera. That's really nice. It's not like the cheap ones you buy at Walmart or something. You got a really good quality camera on it, and even the back camera is real good quality. So I'm gonna add some footage into this video of me using the driving camera, but it is raining today like crazy. We're getting the hurricane aftermath here in Tennessee, so you're gonna have to mind the rain. It's probably loud right now, but there's nothing we can do about it. We will be giving this camera system away very soon. You'll see it in a later video. We're just going to take it off this truck, give it away. I like it a lot. This would be more useful for a car. This truck, since I need a wider viewing angle, how it didn't have the tag mount camera, it doesn't serve me a lot of good, because the fact that I wish the camera was up on the tag, and I wish I wouldn't have had to cut that piece of plastic to mount the camera. That was aggravating, and you can't buy a different camera because it has that motorized lens in it. You can't just add a different style camera to it, and that was another con as well. Okay, so again, it's raining, but we're going to deal with it. This is the quality of the camera. We have it on the highest resolution that they offer, which is pretty handy. I do like this camera quite a bit. If it just had a wider viewing angle, man, it would be so much better. But since the fact that we basically have to deal with that narrow view on the rear, the front's perfect. You can see, a couple feet past my fender. Alright fellas, so that was the backup camera we put in the F150. I'm actually going to be taking this out and doing a giveaway on it because we do have a radio coming. Hopefully it'll be on the channel next week, maybe the week after, but we got an awesome radio and it has the backup camera features in it, so we are going to install the factory mirror back in the truck. So you can win this setup. We'll announce that on a later video. The cons I don't like about the camera is it has a narrow viewing angle like I talked about. Also, because the whole mirror is the screen, when Braxton or Lonnie's backing me up to a trailer, I need to see their hand motions, whether they're telling me to go forward, back, left, right, and I can't because the whole entire mirror is a screen. So I have to turn the screen off, and that's aggravating. I wish they'd have done it like normal cameras and put it as half the mirror is the screen. The DVR, what we found out, the reason we only put a little bit of the footage is because it was raining so hard the audio was poo-poo, and we did figure out that it records front and rear at the same time. You don't have to pick and choose which one. I thought that was a pretty neat feature. So if you're into the whole DVR thing, I'm not really into it. Like I said, small town, we don't really drive in big towns much, where I would assume a dash camera would come in even more handy. But yeah, it's a good camera. It's well built. Just I didn't like the viewing angles and the fact that, at night you have to turn that screen off or you really can't see nothing behind you because of the backlighting on the screen. But we'll announce later how we're going to give this thing away. So I hope you guys liked the video. Stay tuned. Every Wednesday we're going to try to do the F150 videos. Awesome subscriber sent us a leveling kit to put on the truck. We didn't ask him to. He just donated to the channel. So that'll be coming up soon. We got the under dash lightings, the radio, the subwoofer, so all kinds of stuff coming. So stay tuned, every Wednesday, every other Wednesday for F150 videos. We love you guys, and God bless. Redbeard's Garage is powered by GoPowersports.com. Go Power Sports has a huge amount of awesome go-kart and mini bike parts, and when making your purchase, use the Redbeard discount code in the upper right-hand corner of your shopping cart to grab yourself a sweet deal. Hit that subscribe button and make sure the notification bell is on so you'll never miss another episode. And go check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Pinterest to stay up to date with the channel. Guys, always come back to Redbeard's Garage. I'm out.